Attacks on U.S. troops are rising right now as the FBI warns of attacks here in the U.S. That's right. We also have a major government shutdown coming here in just a matter of a few days. I'll give you the details here on that. And the new Speaker of the House says that he doesn't have a bank account. I'll give you the growing scandal here on that here as well. Let's jump right in and give you all the details. Also, thank you so much for liking these videos. It helps YouTube algorithm send this out to more viewers so that they can get this information. And there's this growing scandal on that because of YouTube blocking information. So please like these videos. It really helps out these videos get to more viewers. Here we go. Okay, FBI New York Division Chief says, quote, "We are definitely looking into the threats that are coming in, and there is a lot of them." That's right. We are getting a lot of potential threats as the FBI has put out a list of threats of major cities. I'll link you to my other video here. Yeah, it's getting definitely concerning. If you didn't see my other video of major list of cities, I'll link you to that video here in a moment of US cities that are under threat alert of potential attacks by Russia and or Hamas, which has a lot of people under alert or head on a swivel maybe. So make sure to stay tuned for that video here. I'll link you to it here in a moment. Take a listen to this.
Against Hamas rages on, a dire warning from FBI Director Christopher Wray.
The ongoing war in the Middle East has raised the threat of an attack against Americans in the United States to a whole nother level.
Wray telling the Senate Homeland Security Committee the FBI is concerned violent extremists will be inspired by Hamas and other foreign terrorist groups to attack Americans.
We assess that the actions of Hamas and its allies will serve as an inspiration, the likes of which we haven't seen since ISIS launched its so-called caliphate several years ago.
It comes as this morning the FBI says it now has a suspect in custody in connection with violent online threats targeting Jewish students at Cornell University. According to prosecutors, 21-year-old Patrick Dye, a junior at the Ivy League school, is facing federal charges for a series of posts allegedly threatening to kill Jewish people at the college and shoot up a campus building. The Anti-Defamation League says it's seen a nearly 400% increase in reported anti-Semitic incidents compared to the same period last year, with college students frequently targeted.
When we are hearing from students who are saying that they are being harassed, concerned about being visibly Jewish, I think is really concerning.
FBI Director Wray highlighted the alarming surge in anti-Semitic hate nationwide.
This is a threat that is reaching, in some ways, sort of historic levels.
All part of his warning that threats against both American Jews and Muslims are growing, inflamed since the war began, including the killing of a 6-year-old Palestinian-American child in Illinois, allegedly at the hands of his family's landlord. Wray said the FBI also arrested a man in Houston who was studying how to build bombs and posted online about his support for killing Jews.
Elected officials are facing threats as well. A Las Vegas man has been charged with threatening to kill Nevada Senator Jackie Rosen, who is Jewish, after leaving a series of anti-Semitic voicemails. His lawyer did not respond to an NBC News request for comment. As for the Cornell suspect, his first court appearance is set for today. Officials at the university say they're grateful to the FBI for, quote, working so swiftly to identify and apprehend him, guys. All right.
Attacks on U.S. troops in the Middle East are rising now, even still, almost every day now. Yeah, U.S. troops in Iraq and Syria have been attacked at least 10 times since Thursday. There have now been at least 38 attacks against U.S. bases with U.S. personnel since October 17th. Three defense officials say most of the weekend attacks came via one-way drones and rockets. This comes as Israeli soldiers fight to reach Hamas's headquarters as they say they do not want a ceasefire because it will give Hamas time to regroup, as Hamas has recently said that they are going to repeat what happened on October 7th over and over and over again. The U.S. has deployed a new nuclear-powered submarine to the Middle East. Ukrainian President Zelensky invites former President Donald Trump to Ukraine, saying he needs just 24 minutes to explain to him why he won't be able to bring peace to the Ukrainian war. This comes after Trump had claimed he could resolve the Ukraine war within 24 hours if reelected. This also comes here as Ukrainian President Zelensky says we won't give our freedom to effing terrorist Putin, aka give up their land, their people, their resources, their homes to Putin, the invader. This also comes here as Russia is now drafting Ukrainian soldiers from Ukraine and putting them on the front lines of the Russian military of the land that Russia occupies and is currently has invaded of Ukraine, currently occupied. They are now taking the men that are there and putting them in the Russian military on the front line, basically creating genocide. They're just putting them on the front lines and they're dying. And if they don't agree to it, well, you can imagine what probably happens. You can let me know your thoughts on that. And if that land eventually becomes Russia permanently, all the men that are there or that are left will also go into Russia's army and will be put on the front lines, and will eventually all those men will die anyways. This is the definition of genocide. This also comes here as Putin unleashes a record bombing in Ukraine as the world watches Gaza. Almost 90 bombs were dropped in one region in just 24 hours. This is why a lot of people think that Russia is who is funding Hamas and gave them the 2,000 missiles and bombs just for the first day's attack, now over 10,000 in total. Where did they get those from? As this now allows Russia to continue on without the world having their eye solely on them, and to help Ukraine defend themselves, Putin can now go on with less people helping Ukraine defend themselves. They dropped 90 bombs in 24 hours on Ukraine. Mike Johnson, the new head speaker of the House of Representatives, embraces the deficit fight, setting up battle over Medicare, Social Security, and funding the government, even keeping the government open, which is now about 10 days away and under a severe deadline. We'll have to see how that works out, because quite the deadline, because the Republicans had to fight to even get a speaker in there. Also coming under some scrutiny here, House Speaker Mike Johnson skirts a personal question on his own personal bank account. Take a listen to this interview from Fox News on them asking about his bank account. Take a listen here.
Okay, we got to go, but I have to ask you this because there's been so much made about it. Vanity Fair says this: what's up with Mike Johnson's very shady-seeming financial disclosures? They say you've never reported a bank account or an asset on a financial disclosure form going back to 2016. Can you clear that up for us?
Yes, look, I'm a man of modest means, okay? I was a lawyer, but I did constitutional law, and most of my career I spent in the nonprofit sector. We have 4 kids, 5 now, that are very active, and I have kids in graduate school, law school, undergraduate. We have a lot of expenses, but I can relate to everybody else. My father was a firefighter, right? I didn't grow up with great means, but I think that helps us be a better leader because we can relate to every hardworking American family. That's who we are. And I think it governs and helps govern my decisions and how I lead.
Well, a majority of Americans now say they're living paycheck to paycheck. So a lot of folks in the same boat as they try to figure out this economy. Yep. Speaker, we're wishing you the best in trying to keep the House running and the country functioning. Thank you, sir.
Now, come on. We know that a lot of politicians are corrupt on both sides, Republicans, Democrats, whoever, right? This guy hasn't reported a bank account on his financial disclosure since he's come into Congress. Not a bank account at all. I don't even know how these politicians are allowed to get away with this. How is he paid from Congress, his salary? He's trying to say he doesn't have a bank account? Is he trying to say that Congress pays him in physical cash dollars? Like they pay him in his paycheck and they give him cash? This isn't even realistic. They don't pay him in cash dollars. He either gets a direct deposit or a check. He has to have a bank account. Why do they even let these politicians get away with this for 6-7 years? They should not even let politicians get away with this stuff. So now that he's Speaker of the House, clearly the scrutiny is coming out now saying, oh, by the way, the financial disclosures of this guy, he hasn't reported a bank account for 7 years. Now we're just realizing this? And again, it's not whether he's a Republican or a Democrat. It's just this just shouldn't even be allowed. And then people wonder why people like Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell are all of a sudden worth over $100 million for being in Congress for 30 years. Oh, gee, things like this just slip through the cracks. How are they worth over $100 million after being in Congress for 30 years? Things like this. They report financial disclosures with no bank account. They basically report nothing. And we wonder how these politicians become filthy rich off the backs of everyday Americans. And then they try to say, oh, they're working for us. They're working for the average. Oh, yes, I'm just an average everyday guy. I've been in Congress for 7 years, but I haven't reported any financial disclosures. Yeah. So let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I'll keep reporting to you guys the real news of what's actually going on without any bias, right, left, center. This is just what's happening. We can't trust politicians at all because they just prove this to us time after time. So make sure to subscribe down below, click the bell icon, make sure to like these videos. If you haven't yet, click here to see the video here on the FBI's warning list of the major cities that are under threat of potential multiple different attacks and the type of it. You can see it here in this video. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.